Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties getting everything set up, making sure I sent out that tweet before I kicked this off fully. But GM, man, welcome back. How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. It's a beautiful day out here in Dallas. It's not 130 degrees, so I can't complain. It's only 100.
I was gonna say, I feel like I saw a video, reel or something on Instagram, where it was talking about how the Midwest right now, Texas, that whole area, right now is like in the 99th percentile of heat across the entire world. So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't
99
doubt it.
like still, what's that?
I was gonna say I don't doubt it, dude. It's like I sweat like 5 times a day. Like you sweat, your shirt gets wet, you go do something, you go outside. It's a vicious cycle, dude. Just have sweat stains everywhere.
Nah, man, but I mean, it's part of, it's part of the trade-off. I feel like Dallas, from what I hear, does have decent weather from, throughout a good amount of it, right? Like Dallas is one of those places that catches a lot of the seasonal stuff.
Cheaper.
Yo, Pick God, what's up, man?
The crane has to have the.
I don't even know if he knows it.
Now, give me 1 minute, man. I'm in the middle of a conversation at work, all right? Hold tight.
You're fine. I thought that's something like that was going on. Well, for everyone else in the audience, welcome back. This is the 71st consecutive episode of Wonky Weekly Alpha. So for those of you who are unsure what this is your first time checking it out, basically Wonky Stonks community gets together every single Friday. We just hang out, talk about whatever's happening in the market, whatever's happening across the world, whatever's happening across our lives, whatever it is, man. We just show up and we vibe. If you're unfamiliar with the project, the Stonks were a free mint back in October of 21 that I dropped as a way to basically kind of bridge the gap between the NFT and the crypto/trading community. And yeah, as far as the project is concerned, there is no roadmap. The utility is the art, and really do feel like the art of the charts does resonate with a lot of people. And it is something that's incredibly unique and different from any other type of PFP project. One other thing with the charts, these aren't just randomly grabbed from, price action that happened on different stocks or different crypto coins. These are all completely generative pieces of art. So everyone is guaranteed to be completely different. You're not going to have any Azuki duplicates with that. But yeah, on top of that, anybody that is in here right now, if you are here listening for the first time, you have not showed up before, and you guys want to join the stage, feel free to hit that request button. It's not as intimidating as it seems. I mean, as you heard me talking with Ellis just a little bit ago, dude, it's pretty chill as far as coming up on stage. It's a lot easier than whatever it seems. And one last shout out. If you were a female and you were in the audience today, the Giga Chad Lumber wants to give away a stonk to somebody of the female persuasion this week. Just try to add a little bit more diversity to the community. So his words, not mine. I'm here to support it. So feel free to hit the request button, come up on stage, and it'll be that easy to win a stonk. But yeah, that's what I got. Basic rundown for this week. Lumber, welcome up. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good today, man. Except for that massive Bitcoin sell-off for like 5 minutes. But I was
gonna say what sell-off, man? Like, look at the chart.
So this is what I was told getting into this stuff, that this is what would happen if you can stomach this shit. You'll be fine. So yeah, all good. I noticed the lack of women in the space because no one was tweeting this morning when spaces, because they knew I was giving it away to a girl. So just shouting that out. And, I don't know how we're going to give it out, but I do have a trivia question in the queue if we want to do that. Otherwise, I'll listen to you, Kaleo.
All right, I've got to, the annoying thing about this, as I tweet this out, I always have, like, I'm composing a tweet and then I've got the mute button on and then I've got to delete the tweet to be able to come back and unmute myself to talk. I'm composing a tweet right now, Lumber, to be able to, send it out specifically for per your request. And I think it's a good idea. I think it's something that's a little bit different as far as the giveaway is concerned. And diversity is always a healthy thing. So, like, I'm all here for it.
All right, well, let's see what happens. We'll find out, won't we?
We'll find out here in a bit. The funny thing is, back in the day, and like, I'm not sure if you can look at this on the analytics page anymore, but the historical split as far as my follower percentage from what I got from Twitter analytics, you can go to your analytics page and used to tell you a little bit about the demographics of the people that followed you. And one of the things that it constantly said, the split was about 90-10 between male and female. And like, I did separate polls to back that up. I think if I were to do that again right now, that it would probably be something closer to maybe 85-15. I think that the NFT space has really brought a little bit more diversity as a whole into the community and into the social side of things. But overall, like, I still think it's up there. So it is something that, it's not just this community, it's something across the entire crypto space that, like, it's just, there are a lot of dudes that are out there.
I'm just having fun too, and the women I've heard who've come up on stage and talk all sound great. So I love hearing a different perspective for sure.
100%, man. So we've got somebody else new up on stage. Vandy, what is going on?
Hey everybody, I'm new to the space. I'm a she, her. I'm looking to win some Wonky Stonks.
Lover, what did I tell you was going to end up happening on this?
Hey, I was trying to get
sorry,
pictures
guys.
sent to you, to prove.
Well, yeah, dude, that's the creepy side of things. I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, you've got to send me pictures to be able to qualify to win this.
No, you just need
I
someone.
had something stuck in my throat. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No, you need someone to do that for you, Kaleo, and that was me.
You got to have somebody come up and break the ice either way. So I appreciate that, Vandy.
Someone was going to do it. I was like, I might as well be the first one to do it.
We have a front runner.
Anyway, yeah, what's up, everybody? I don't think I've ever been up here before. It's nice to meet everybody. Love the stocks. Kaleo, you're the man. Great community here. Market looks bullish. Great day to be on this space, man. Good times.
Dude, it is a great day. And, one of the things, looking at it from earlier, the whole thing, the SEC headline, like, the thing that was pretty apparent a little bit after that, I feel like any big headline like that, you're going to see this type of price action, right? Anything mentioning the SEC and regulation really is the new China is banning Bitcoin, right? Like, it's the SEC is coming down on something. And those type of headlines historically this past year have been buy the dip moments. Every single one of them has been an opportunity to be able to step in and to be able to get cheaper corn, right? Like, it's that simple. So, if you could sit there, see through the FUD on every one of these occasions, it's an opportunity rather than something that's like a momentum killer, right? Like, every other time that there should have been some type of action by the SEC to stop the run that we've been on, there has been some type of bullish momentum that has ended up following through past that, right? Like, Gary can't stop us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kaleo, to me, it seems so obvious the intentionality of the SEC right now to try to control everything, but there's still people that are doubters that the SEC is still hands off of the markets, of manipulating the markets. I'm like, it's odd. Like, even today's move, even today, them announcing that the ETF, didn't qualify or whatever. Like, it's so intentional, right? Like, you believe that they're intentionally flooding the markets, intentionally doing these things to gain more control, right?
You know, I definitely think there's got to be some type of thought that's involved in that from their side of things. You know, is it one of those things like what I tweeted out earlier where it's, oh, they see the prices are rallying and they're going to stop it? Like, no, man, like I doubt that it's exactly that, right? Like, they're not sitting there saying that, man, you know, prices are going up. We have to do something to stop this. But I definitely do think, you know, subconsciously, it probably does irk Gensler a little bit. Like, there's no way that that dude appreciates anything crypto native at this point. I don't know how or what, like, who exactly hurt him, but he's flipped a switch to where he is completely against the industry. And it's just is so ironic considering his past, you know, as being that blockchain, you know, having a teaching role for that. And it's so, you know, and hearing a lot of what he talked about in his classes. And I don't want to say the 180, but he's definitely pivoted from a lot of those stances since then. So, you know, the one wake up call I think from this morning's thing is that there were a lot of people that think that it is 100%, you know, whenever BlackRock filed that it's 100% guarantee. So I think if anything, this message just basically sends to the people like, okay, it's not going to be quite as simple as what a lot of people thought going into it. It doesn't mean that BlackRock doesn't have a chance. Doesn't mean that Fidelity doesn't have a chance. Just means that it's not going to be the layup that a lot of people laid out.
Yeah, completely agree. It is crazy, the 180. Like, goes from early adopter professor, when there wasn't even that many blockchain professors in existence, to one of the biggest villains of the space. Someone's got to be lining his pockets. Either that or he's just a part of the hive mind that inevitably happens when you join politics. It's hard to avoid, where just people around you just change your opinions on things, whether it's due to power struggles or money. And I think that's happened to Gary, unfortunately.
It has been, but you know, it definitely provides a little bit of entertainment when everything else seems a little bit dull right now. But you know, looking at everything that we've got coming up this next year, we've got a combination of the halving, right? The debt ceiling has been lifted, right? Like, there's no debt ceiling. So infinite money printer is back in that sense. And then on top of that, you've got these potential ETFs that are on the horizon. Like 2024, 2025, we're going to have some good years ahead of us. So right now, all the noise that we're seeing, like, yeah, it's easy to distract. And all the attention really does feel like it's on Bitcoin at this moment. You know, I think the alt market is still feeling a little bit of the pressure from some of the uncertainty from the SEC regulatory side of things. But realistically, again, the thing that I keep emphasizing that is so true, even with the regulatory side of things, there is no stopping the alt market. There's no stopping. Then you go a layer deeper. You look at the NFT market. The NFT market doesn't have the same type of scrutiny, the same type of regulatory pressure that the rest of the crypto sphere does. So I think it's just a matter of time to kind of get that, you know, there just has to be a little bit of momentum into the confidence for the overall space before the NFT space really takes off, man. So I really think, keep saying it, survive until 25. Like, that is a guarantee for success. But realistically, if I could come up with a good rhyme for 24, 24 is what I really think you have to make it for this space. I think there's so much opportunity on the horizon.
Yeah, man, I agree. Since this is an NFT space, I have a quick question for you, Kaleo. So my current opinion about a lot of these PFPs that blew up last cycle, Doodles, Azukis, Moonbirds, you name it, some of them were insane valuations, right? Like, absolutely out of this world. I think, you know, Moonbirds were what, 30 ETH. Azukis were just 17. Obviously, some stuff happened. I just don't know if those get back to the levels they were last bull market. So, like, if you're someone who is bullish on the NFT space, like a lot of these people are, like, where do you even look? So, like, where I'm looking is things that have cultural relevance, like Wonky Stonks, and things that are native to internet culture, and then things that haven't pumped yet. but I think a lot of people are going to look towards like what pumped last time. Like, so what do you think happens in that area coming up? Because I know you're bullish on NFTs, but like, where do you look?
I think that there's a mix, right? I definitely think there are going to be a good handful of projects that survived basically through this bear market that have a good chance of being leaders going into the next one, right? And, I think that it's pretty obvious what a lot of those are right now as far as what actually has momentum. And the other thing that somebody brought up recently that is so valid, going sideways in a bear market is pretty bullish too. So, look at what's been trending higher. Well, look at what's been trending sideways throughout this period. And I really think that there's a decent chance of survival from a good handful of those type of projects. Not just for survival, but leading it. But the real honest to God truth of it is the majority of projects after that from this last cycle are going to die off and they're going to stay dead, right? Like they are not going to all of a sudden have this miraculous. There's going to be a period where, I'm sure that we're going to get dead cat bounces across a lot of them. But the thing in general about investing in these new opportunities, look at the meme coins, right? There's a reason why every single time there's a new mint, every single time there's a new meme coin that started to come out, that there was a rush of new interest. Rather than going back to some old one that had sold off a little bit and saying, oh, this thing's dipped, now's my opportunity to get in cheap. People would rather gamble on the new thing to be able to have the opportunity to be able to, buy a new lottery ticket is basically what it is, right? They're saying, hey, this old lottery ticket doesn't have the luster that the potential of this new one does. You never know what could happen with this new one. So I think that's what you get. You get a mixture of, I think, the older survivor or the survivors of this one that have a chance to lead. But the majority of the new stuff, or the majority of the stuff that will take off outside of that, will be new stuff. It's not going to be these derivatives that are, 10 times that have been dead for, a year, 2 years. They're not all of a sudden going to have a massive comeback, right? Like that's, I think, one thing that people need to get out of their heads. Okay, I apologize for pronouncing this wrong because I know we'll in advance, but Kyla or Kayla, maybe Kayla.
You did it right. You did it right. I'm sorry if this
is it Kyla or
it's
Kayla? Which one?
Kayla. It's Kayla. It's
okay,
just spelled
Kayla.
a little funny. I hope this is okay. I'm sorry for just coming in here and requesting to speak, but I was asked by my friend Johnny Solana to come up here and shout him out and shout out Wonky Stonks for some NFT, I guess, for him. I think that's what's going on.
Okay, well, there you go. You're the, here's the deal.
Okay.
Lumber is an absolute legend. Lumber DM here, he's been doing a giveaway for one of his stonks every week for the past few weeks and wanted to do it up through his birthday, in mid-July. Mm-hmm. And this week he tweeted out that he wanted to give it away. And I quote, this is his tweet: I am aiming to give a Wonky Stonk away to the female persuasion later this week on Crypto Kaleo's Wonky Weekly Spaces.
Oh, wow.
If he can get the streak live and have a female tune in. So he was just like, I want diversity up on the stage and in the community. And, you're the first person up here. So, I mean, I don't know what Lumber's criteria is here. If he wants to wait until the end of the space and decide, or if he wants to just declare you the winner, this is all up to him right now.
No, absolutely. That's super cool, though. So thank you. And thank you, Lumber, for having this opportunity for women in the space.
So wait, Kayla, you got to give us a little background about yourself aside from just knowing Johnny Solana. And I'm sorry.
That's not enough.
Just kidding.
That should be enough. I thought everybody knew Johnny Solana. My name is Kayla, and I suppose I'll keep it to NFT background. I've been in NFTs as a just kind of interest since I would say, November of 21. So for a while, and just kind of a collector, mostly on Solana, but happy to be here. And this is actually my first time in this space, so I'm super excited.
go. Love to hear it. Okay, so how long have you been in the NFT space for?
Since
And slash, how did you get plugged in the first place? I love to know everybody's origin
Sure.
story.
Yeah, so I got into NFTs in the end of 2021, and the reason why I got into it is because I got really lucky with Dogecoin as kind of like a normie investor. And when that worked out, I ended up selling and wanted to kind of know more about crypto from a more, I guess, educated viewpoint. So I started to really look into things. And once you start looking into crypto, eventually you find NFTs.
Hey, Kaylee, are you kidding me? She's the winner.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
Aw.
Lumber decided. Pack up the space. We're done. We've achieved the mission, and that's it for this. Hey, I do want to give a great honorable mention, though. Shout out to Vandy for the effort. So, great job with that coming up and having the boldness to say anything on stage for the first time. Kayla, I am curious though. So, are you primarily like I see you have an SMB? Are you all on the Soul side, or do you kind of cross chains a little
Oh
bit?
my gosh, I wish this was an SMB. No, this is like some cheap derivative over on Solana that I just think is so funny because there's so many like there's so much monkey art derivatives on Solana. And this is the only one I could find with like a witch hat, so I just thought this one was cute. But I am mostly on Solana, but I do also do a little bit on ETH. But for the most part, I'm on Solana because a lot of my friends are on Solana. And right now, with how the market's been, it's mostly kind of just supporting my friends' projects who are doing things and not a lot of kind of buying to hold. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay, the one other explanation that we need is what is the bio? This account is ran by a man.
So I don't, I'm a shit poster. So I just, I post a lot of my opinions, which are generally a lot more palatable if I just tell people that I'm a man. And also, being a woman on like crypto Twitter, you get a lot of people who are like, oh, you're a man anyway. You're using a voice changer and stuff like that. I get that all the time. So it's a lot easier to just be like, yeah, than, And it's kind of funny too. Sometimes I like to LARP as people like Andrew Tate or whatever, just depending on the vibe of the day.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Um, so, I'm trying to think of who else I really know that's plugged in deeply to the Solana side anymore. Because the thing is, I feel like a lot of the deep rooted connections that I had as far as the Solana NFT side of things were people that were okay. Bears had its time in the sun, time in the sun. It sat there in the spotlight for a second, but I can't think of really a single OK Bears that I guess Nate Rivers is kind of there. And I know him a little bit, but
You're
like
right.
and then if I go down through a bunch of the other collections that are up there that are the prominent ones, there just aren't as many people that I can, but I know it's still active, right? Like I know that
Yeah.
there's still a healthy community.
I actually recently had a conversation like this with a friend of mine who's big into Solana as far as, because Solana is so cheap now. It's like, what projects would you buy and hold really long term to say if they could potentially come back when the market is a little bit better? And we had a really hard time actually finding ones that we both believed in and could agree on, or would say that they would be a potential thing that we would both go for. So I agree on that, and also I find that a lot of the PFP art on Solana is just horrendous, to be honest with you. So hopefully it'll get better over time.
Hello, guys.
Alien, what's up, man? Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing great. I'm a big Solana guy, and I think the Madlets is the most obvious project right now on Solana. I have one.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And also, I'm a big believer in Wonky Stonks and the Pudgy Penguins as well.
Yeah, appreciate that, Alien. And you're right. I don't know how I blanked on Mad Lads. I guess I was thinking more of the historic projects that were out there, but Mad Lads really has taken the Solana side by storm. And it's one of those things where it may feel like it came out of nowhere, but dude, I was talking to Tristan. I had a couple calls with him literally just about Mad Lads last fall. It was in September when he was telling me about his plans for everything. And they'd already been working on it then for a few months. And then the mint wasn't until, 3 to 6 months after. I forget exactly when it was, but, I think that it was sometime early spring, right? So, point being, though, they've been working on this project for a really long time, and there's really cool stuff behind it too. I've given them a shout out before, so yeah, shout out to the Mad Lads. They're definitely there, and I don't know how I forgot about them. But thinking about like prominent people that I'm connected to, that would probably be the one on Solana that I know the most people that are currently active with.
Yeah, I think Mad Lads and maybe Solana Monkey Business. They are doing like a raffle right now, hoping I win, but let's see. But I'm sorry, guys, I need to leave. So thank you just for everything.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, man. Happy
Yeah.
Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Rooster, the legend. What's going on, man?
What up, man? Just dropped girlfriend off at work. Yeah, didn't have reception earlier, so couldn't hop up.
All good, brother. All good. No worries at all. So what is going on in the world of Rooster this weekend?
This weekend, shit, not too much, to be honest. Got a buddy in town today, or he's been in town for the past couple days. Like flew in right after 80s, flew out. So I've been playing host again. And I think they're either heading out either today or tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be kind of the end of my busyness.
Love to hear it, man. Dude, I did find out though I am going to come to Denver at the end of August.
Hey, let's go.
So I'm making a trip. Got to set something up whenever I'm there, but that is the official estimated time to be coming up there, right whenever it's at its hottest.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think I got the beginning of August set aside for. I think I'm flying out to like Oregon, but I should be here end of August.
Love to hear it, man. We'll have to set something up then. See, we just had. Well, actually, no, Pick God has been up here for a minute. I could have sworn I saw somebody else that just joined.
Maybe Vandy or you.
No. Vandy's already talked. That is 100%.
Yeah, dude, I miss a lot of the space, bro. I'm dealing with some bad shit at work, sadly. But
I was going to say you were in a work meeting there at the beginning.
Yeah, it's not progressing the best, I'd say. I don't know what's going on with you guys. Anything? I didn't even look at the market today. I know we pumped a little bit last night and kind of dipped in the morning. Did we bounce back at all?
Yeah, man. The market's already basically. I mean, it has not fully recovered from the losses of this morning, but we are basically where we were yesterday at this time of the day. So, as far as the prices, past 24 hours didn't happen. Just, like casual $1,000 wicks or, actually like $1,500 wicks in either direction. So, it is what it is. Outside of that, like, the big thing in the NFT space this week has been the Azuki mint, which was hilariously fumbled. And, looking at it, dude, the craziest thing is that they have duplicates, not just within the new collection, but duplicates of the original Azukis within the new collection. So looking at that, like that was one of the biggest blunders that I've seen. Just there were a lot of people that were upset about the fact that the art wasn't very original and then the price level. But the funny thing that I have, and just in general about the NFT space, if you look at any other company or any other business slash, anything, right after they raise $40 million is usually when people are the most bullish about them, right? They're like, man, they just completed how much funding? They're like, shit, like they've got to have something good, lined up.
They
and
got
there's
called
got to
out,
be
though. They got called out because they got that guy that led that rugged 2 projects before.
Well, but everybody knew that. Everybody knew that a long time ago. That was not like a new thing for this mint. So my point being with this, though, it's like, what other line of any type of industry do you have a $40 million raise, and within 24 hours of it, everybody's super bearish on the project and the company, whatever else going forward? Nowhere.
Bro,
Like,
what cracked me the fuck up was the 24 hours later, he's like, we're kind of sorry. We also got green beans. Like, that's the shit that had me on the floor laughing. It was fucking 24 hours later, they're like, we're sorry, but we got another 10,000 green beans for y'all.
All right, so how do we stop people getting rugged? How do we stop people getting ripped off and invest into something good?
You can buy Wonky Stonks.
I don't believe that.
I'm pretty sure the elderly have been trying to figure it out for a long time with telemarketers and stuff.
Yeah, Bo, by the way, just FYI, I don't know if it's my connection, but I'm really having a hard time hearing you speak. There's something, a lot of static and kind of robot-y chopping. And, I'm losing some words. So maybe try like closing out the Twitter app, coming back in, or checking to see if you've got a better connection somewhere else.
Let's try that. Can you hear me now?
Now it sounds like somebody's breaking into your car.
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yes,
All right,
yes,
it.
I can.
I had to get out of
Perfect, man. Thank you.
I said I had to get out of an ape coin to clear, to sound clear.
Well, I don't know what that means, but congratulations. No, man, but what? Back to your question, though. I think the biggest thing is that there are a lot of people that are just still incentivized by this. If there's a successful project, so much of it goes down to, like, again, the backwards thing with these projects and these mints they're all completely blind. So you have a certain level of trust and reputation that a company can build, and there's an obvious value to that trust and to that reputation. In the case of Azuki here, that value is $40 million. And they were able to capitalize on that blindly from the community. But, the issue with that is you only have so much of that social capital that you're able to spend. And whenever you exhaust it on this type of level, you really are hurting the reputation that was able to help generate those type of valuations and those type of revenues in the first place. So I think it does go back to the company in this type of sense. People had a decent reason to make that type of investment. They had a decent thesis for it. Like Azuki has done well so far. The beans were questionable, but the beans at the same time weren't something that people had to spend a ridiculous amount on. So they did end up returning value to the Azuki community. And overall, you could argue that the price of Azukis themselves was inflated going into this. And regardless of how well this mint went, that so much of the value for that there was the value of this of this project was already baked in.
Are you pushing Azuki? Are you pushing Azuki then? Because
no, I'm not at all. Like, I don't think that they did this very well at all, and I think they exhausted a lot of social capital, and that they are going to have to do a lot from here to be able to regain that trust. Does it mean that the project's dead? No, but I mean, did they give an example of what not to do? Yes.
Yeah, and not only
I
that,
agree with
like
that.
Zagabond is like tone deaf on the whole situation too, because in his apology letter, he's like, the goal of this was to get more people, grow the Azuki community by allowing more people in at a lower price point. Well, it didn't even go to like anybody else outside of the community. Like I think the mint was under 30 minutes. Like it went by pretty quickly. I think Azuki's had like 10 minutes to claim theirs or whatever, and then it opened up to Azuki's and Beans, and it was like almost gone immediately. Like not a single person outside of the community minted one. They extracted the entire 40 million out of them. Not only that, most of the Azuki whales care. I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but it seems like they care more about respect than they do about realizing some losses on it, because quite a few were publicly dumping and publicly exiting. Some of them were trying to do it more quietly by spreading out their NFTs into alt wallets and burners, and just selling them off of there. But yeah, it was just like the whole thing was botched, and then they're pushing Beans down to the third tier or whatever in their collection, right? It was just pretty much like, oh, you guys don't need these anymore. Yeah, the whole thing fumbled, and yeah, I think the team was pretty tone deaf about the response to it as well.
Azuki never stream.
Is it necessarily a rug? Because they never really like said what they were gonna do. They never said anything about the artwork or what that they were gonna look like or anything. I mean, I didn't really know much about the elementals. I feel like they didn't really come out with a lot of information before the mint.
It never hit. It didn't even hit mainstream until the fact that people were bashing on it. Azuki's, it had to have been all inside, right?
Right. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Johnny?
I had to come up here. It's a very historic, epic times right here because Solana flipped Ethereum and NFT sales volume for the first time. Thought I'd like to share that, and that's through the SMB raffle for the public raffle to mint, like another one of those NFTs. They got a little raffle thing going on right now. So,
Can I ask you guys a question about Pepe? What's the whole story with that?
What is the story with Pepe? What do you mean? Like, it was a meme coin that popped up, and there was a degenerate. I'd say one of the first meme coins this cycle that popped up, and a degenerate group within the NFT community decided to basically just long it and ape everything they had into it, and it just grew into a movement more than anything else. I mean, what else? I don't know what else. What else do you want to know?
Are they still aping it though? I mean, are they? Because he's gone after the NFT community. What's your?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's still alive. I'm not sure what happens to it from here. Does it die out? Probably not.
Sounds like that guy is invested in that, so he's asking about it, right?
You know what's funny is I've done Bitcoin since 2016, and then did Doge early, and then I'm interested in Pepe because it's the fun thing that's hitting Twitter right now.
Where were you like 2 months ago?
I'm wondering, man.
No, I did.
It was such an out of the blue question.
I did Pepe 2 months ago. You're right. I just wasn't here and talking to you.
So what do you guys think about Solana doing the highest NFT volume?
I didn't see that, man.
I just pinned it up top. Take a look. I pinned it up top.
Let's check it out.
$25 million, I think.
I guess what I have to say toward that right now, first off, that's crazy. But like, what exactly where are you tracking that, or not where are you tracking that? What collections are primarily
It's the
driving?
SMB, Kaleo. The SMB, they're doing a Gen 3, and there's a public raffle right now for like 4,000, for like an allocation of 4,000 JPEGs, right? So, so it's a 20 soul to enter a raffle, and then if you don't win it, it's refundable. It gets refunded to your wallet, and they've sold over 69,000 tickets.
Okay, so what you're saying is it's like pretty much arbitrary volume on vaporware because really only part of those transactions are, you know, going to go through for the NFT, and it's also in the middle of a bear market. So I mean, cool for Solana to have one day more of like sales volume, but in the middle of an NFT bear market, I don't think it really means anything.
So what do you guys call sideways trading? Because I think we're in sideways trading for at least another year.
I mean, I'd still call this the bear market because realistically, what you're looking at, and bear market doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have some bullish price action inside of it, but you're not going to get, like in a real bull market, you are going to get sustained price action that doesn't just last like a week or two, right? You're going to see new all-time highs across the board. The entire space just basically becomes dumb money at that point, right? Like it is aping into every single opportunity that is out there, and it happens quickly. Right now, we're seeing it happen on isolated occasions with different projects, different coins, but it's not happening across the
Right.
market. And it's not sustaining the same type of level, the same type of pace that you would in a bull market. So if anything, hey, maybe somebody could argue the fact that the bottom is in for Bitcoin and that, from a higher time frame perspective, maybe it has shifted more toward a bull market and that type. But I really look at it as, when are we starting to approach all-time high and, start to have a longer window than just several months, right? Like, because right now I could still see a retrace, a month or two from now. Like, I'm not necessarily saying that what we're seeing, like I think 30K obviously is still a good area to buy. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw lower than this, within the next several months also.
Yeah, it will never go below 16.
Yeah, I don't see it going back beneath that 16K area either. But one way or the other, the alts are still in a bear market, man. Like, we are seeing, you can see what happened with BCH, what happened with LTC recently. But, if you're talking about alts and NFTs, they've been struggling versus Bitcoin, even with Bitcoin still climbing. I think we're still a ways away from a sustained, we may get a little mini alt season on the back of this, but a real alt season, man, is up only across the board. And we're not there right now.
I agree with that.
God, what's up, man?
Oh, dude, nothing. I don't think I meant to come off mute, but I've just been chilling, man. I mean, work's been pretty hectic. A lot of shit's going on. Market wise, I've just been still kind of like stacking some BTC here and there. Still bullish on the future, man. I'm like, think I'm going a little bit insane thinking about what's going to happen in 24 and 25, but I got a plan and I'm sticking to it. So nothing crazy on my end.
And I think that's one of the biggest messages that we could put out there is that we're going to most investments are going to sideways trade for a year, right? Maybe even 2 years until, I don't know, the halving starts and then people can invest a little bit more. 2024, I think things are going to take off.
I agree. 2024, 2025 is, like we were talking about a little bit ago, when I really expect the real fun to start. So everything up until then, man, like there's just a lot of opportunity as far as looking for those higher conviction, longer term plays and being patient, right? So there's a lot of opportunity stepping into that. And I think that it's, like that's why these type of spaces are so cool. Talk about it last week, and I'll keep talking about it each week. It gives me a lot of throwback to last summer where there was, like the entire NFT marketplace still felt pretty dead. Realistically, a few months after, or a couple months after the Otherworld deed mint, the entire space just felt pretty dead. So seeing that right now, like I'm still seeing a bunch of these NFT spaces pop up about like, are NFTs really dead? Are they ever going to come back? All these events that people have talked about that were supposed to be bullish catalysts have just sucked ETH out of the marketplace each time. Whether it is the rotation from meme coins back to NFTs, whether it's the Azuki mint and how it went, right? Each and every one of these hasn't necessarily done something that's positive for the space in the way that it's been hyped up to be. So there are a lot of people that are just down on the space in general right now. And I really think that is where there is the most opportunity, right? When you have everybody across the board that is sitting there bearish and wondering, will there ever be life breathed back into this area? Like that is where there's the most opportunity to be able to get in because nobody else wants to. Nobody else wants to touch it. So looking for whatever it is that you trust has some type of future, that was a solid time. And as long as you can have some semblance of patience, I think you'll be okay. So, by the way, Kayla, make sure, I'm not sure if Lumber has DM'd you yet, but before I forget, make sure that y'all connect to go ahead and set up I want to make sure that you do get that stonk before this space ends.
Yeah, absolutely. He did DM me. Thank you.
It's perfect.
Yeah, so a couple points on Solana because we have some Solana people up here. I don't think that it's a coincidence that the one girl that came up here is from Solana. Pretty sure all the hot girls are on Solana. I'm just
There
gonna
you
say that
have it.
right. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Pretty sure that's true. And then also, I think people needed to stop underestimating Solana NFTs. I don't even own any right now, so I'm not even biased. I own 0, but I was pretty deep in the space. Like last bull market, I was actually a contributing member of Monkey DAO, so I was pretty deep in the space. I sold out, luckily, kind of before things got crazy, but the experience of trading NFTs on Solana is just completely different. Like it's enjoyable to make transactions instead of painful like it is on ETH because of the gas. So it's just a completely different experience. I'll say last bull market, the culture on Solana NFTs got a bit toxic because it was just such a small community. But I think that gets fixed over time. But I think the L2s, it still hasn't been proven that community is going to be grown there. I think Solana has been proven. So I think people are way underestimating the power of NFTs on Solana. So yeah, we'll see though. And the hot girls are there. So
Well, Vandy, I do agree with you on the fact that I think there are a lot of people still sleeping on it. It's one of those things where the funniest thing about Solana is it really does preach what I'm talking about as far as whenever somebody says something is completely dead is when there's the most opportunity, because you can look at when there's been the most Solana FUD where, for instance, even when like the gods and Utes were leaving, man, I feel like the rest of the Solana space right after they left just started taking off. And there were a lot of people that exited whenever the news came out that they were leaving the chain because they were like, man, if it's not good enough for them, who are the leaders on Solana, right? Like They were the Bored Ape Yacht Club. They were the punks. And whenever they walked away, there were a lot of people that just lost faith. And again, opened up a lot of opportunity as far as a bunch of these other collections that ended up doing well after the fact. And you look at it right now where Solana has continued to gain momentum as far as the volume share. I don't necessarily see it as much on the social side, but I think a large part of that just goes back to who I'm connected to. Not necessarily the fact that it's not out there, just the fact that I don't have the connections that I really need to be able to start seeing it pop up on my feed as much. So we've got somebody else new to the space. Braden, what's going on? Love the pudgy man.
Hey, Claire, how's it going? Can you hear me all right?
Can't complain, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Nice to meet you. First time up. Thanks for having me. Just a question regarding pudgies, actually. I listen to your spaces quite often, and I like your takes. I've seen your charts regarding pudgies as well. And I just want to know, or kind of wanted to hear your opinion, because I haven't heard your take on why you are bullish yourself. And maybe what do you see right now in the sentiment with pudgies? Because I don't know, man, everywhere I look, and maybe it's just my timeline, but it's filled with new people joining the huddle. And, of course, I'm not solely focused on floor price. I don't think anybody in the pudgy community really is, but I'm just curious as to why do you think we're being held back? Is it just NFT space in general? Because I see new owners coming in all the time, daily, and, just curious to hear your thoughts.
I guess when you say being held back, you're talking about the fact that the floor price is not going up, right?
For exactly in regards to considering how bullish sentiment seems and how much from other projects we've seen that are lacking true leaders or individuals that seem to be doing something in this space, and then it seems to be all roses when people talk about Luca. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm looking back at the pudgy chart, and the crazy thing is one of the Pico bottoms leading to where the price is now was like late June of last year. It's right around the time that I became really interested in pudgies, but it's not necessarily something that happened overnight. Why I was bullish on them initially is why I'm still bullish on that community. It's just because I feel like the art does hold up really well. It's something that resonates with a lot of the crypto community, whether it's on the CT side or the NFT side. There are a lot of people that resonate with it. And then you look at what Luca's done past then. This is really before Luca was doing too much that I got plugged in. And I became bullish, honestly, at the very beginning, not because of Luca, but just because of what you're talking about, how many new faces continue to pop up on the timeline. And just really felt like one of those things that wasn't going to go away. And I still see that right now, right? There are a lot of people, the communities continue to grow. And have people maybe sold out or taken some profit or done whatever? Sure. But does that mean that the project, because it's stalled out where it is dead? No. The NFTs in general right now, as a whole, you look at other major collections and look at what they've done throughout the same period, right? Going sideways in a bearish market can be extremely bullish. So I don't think that there's any issue with it right now. I actually think that it's something that if you're super bullish on the project, that you should be hyped about, because you should see that, okay, even though price isn't shooting up, here are all the amazing things they're doing that double down on your conviction for why you're bullish on them in the first place, and that just provide more ammunition for, okay, here's an opportunity for me to be able to continue to invest without having, without watching this continue to shoot up. You have the opportunity to be able to stack. And I think that that's a blessing, right? If there's a project that you're bullish on and the market as a whole is going down, but it's finding a way, where it's slightly going down or going sideways, dude, that's a gift. So I don't know. That's the way that I kind of look at it right now. I'm still incredibly bullish. I think that Luca's been doing a lot of great things, and I don't think that it's going to stop because price has stalled out.
Yeah, I hear you. I really like what you said there, and you said earlier in the space as well. If the market's going sideways and your project's not going down, it's a good time to accumulate. At this point, I've doubled and tripled down, but I'm just glad you're kind of just intrigued to hear your thoughts on your take and the sideways kind of number with pudgies going on right now, but bullish as always. And thanks for your take, man. Take it easy.
No problem at all, my man.
Are you homies with Pentoshi? Do you get him up here to speak sometimes?
Yo, I didn't even see Pentoshi hop in.
I know, I just
Pentoshi
saw him.
is an absolute legend. He probably just heard through the grapevine that I was talking about the Pudgies, and he's an advisor for the Pudgies, so he just has to hear anytime that something happens with them. But no, Pentoshi's the man. One of these days, I'll get him to come up and speak on one of my spaces, but he's more of a lurker than anything else. In the best way. The best way.
The best way. So Solana's not dead, huh?
Solana's not dead,
Dude,
man.
I was going to say.
Solana's not dead. The market as a whole is not dead, regardless of whatever Gary says about it or Gary tries to do. It's actually fun right now, man. I'm looking across the board. A lot of the big names. I mean, heck, Litecoin is taking off right now. Litecoin's taking off. We had BCH rally. Like Sol has been rallying. Like what you just said, Solana's not dead. Solana actually has been rallying pretty decently over the past several days. So it's not just the volume that you're seeing right now in the NFT market. Like Solana as a whole, the underlying price is actually driving up along with it. So that's pretty fun to watch. ETH is actually taking off today some too. So, as Bitcoin has stalled out in a sense from where it was 24 hours ago, we're still seeing some fun across the alt market, which...
Are you looking at the chart right now?
Which one? Yeah, the Sol chart?
Yeah. No, what's Ethereum sitting at?
Oh, shoot, dude. I was looking at ETH BTC, and the ETH BTC ratio has continued to climb. Looking at USD 1930. So it's still just chopping under 2K. But I mean, not bad, right? Like, now we're up from where we were yesterday. So,
dude, it's so nice to have you in the Twitter space, to be honest. I feel like some people kind of, maybe not like be a fan of you or whatever, say that, you'll be like calling the top or something at times, but I feel like you've made, like, by listening to calls of yours, I know I've made money, and I've lost some money too, in a sense of like, maybe I got a little greedy and something, but I know my friends have even made money from listening to your calls over time, So it's really nice to have somebody like you, Kaleo, in the crypto space, to, when everybody's all scared and everything and panicking, like somebody with a rational mind, to share things and the calls that you do. Thank you again for everything.
Yeah, that means a lot, Johnny. I appreciate that. I think the thing, though, that you learn with enough time, I think every person experiences this through their trading arc. You go through several experiences, right? When you first start off trading, you're like, I know absolutely nothing. And where am I going to start? I feel like I can find some type of edge. You end up finding your edge eventually. Actually, maybe you lose for a little bit, but then eventually you find your edge. And then eventually, you get to this point where you're like, I am in God mode. There's nothing that I can do to lose right now. I have all of the alpha, every single edge on the market. And eventually you end up round tripping that, and your confidence level ends up being like, like, I am just a normal dude with whatever. And like that's where I am right now, man. Like, I feel like there was a period the last cycle where I felt like nothing I could do would be wrong. I would never be able to miss on anything. And you really got this sense of pride to where anybody attacked whatever strategy that you ended up having. Like, I got really, really defensive, where I wanted to be able to defend every single position and say, here's why you're wrong and why I'm going to be right. But eventually the market humbles you to a point to where you realize that one way or the other, like you're not going to have a 100% hit rate, right? Like it's about being able to the manage the positions that you have effectively. And even if you do call out something correctly, right? Like there's no way to be able to guarantee that whoever follows what you're doing executes that perfectly with you. So the real thing at the end of the day is eventually you just learn to be able to throw away whatever pride you have. If people end up disagreeing with whatever takes you have, like it's fine. You know, different people have different perspectives on the market. You're going to be right sometimes, you're going to be wrong others. But if your expectation is perfection going into it, you're never going to be able to tweet anything, right? Like you're never going to be able to share any opinions whatsoever. So I think that that's the real thing at the end of the day is just understanding where your edge is, being confident in it, understanding that you're going to have people disagree with you. Occasionally they'll be right, occasionally they'll be wrong, but one way or the other, you can't let it get in your head because if you do, you're going to completely throw away your strategy without any real motivation other than the fact that you were prideful and you started overanalyzing something because somebody said something that you didn't like to hear. So I don't know, man. It's always encouraging hearing that whatever you have to say is helpful to somebody else, though, man. So I appreciate that.
For sure. You know, I mean, it is a lot of there's it's an important thing that you're, you know, sharing some information or whatever that you are able to pick up on. But then there's a whole other side of it all as to, you know, me being the reader or listener, you know, I have to interpret that information data and ultimately kind of use it to my edge, which is not necessarily always maybe just blindly aping in or like trailing, right? It's I still have that responsibility. I mean, it's that I'm that player one in my game, right? So it's dope. It's dope. I definitely didn't like what Rooster said earlier on today, which reminded me. But I also was going to ask you about that patience aspect that you were talking about, which I feel like through exactly what you just said, I got a deeper understanding of it all. So thanks again.
Wait. What did Rooster say earlier?
Well, Rooster was saying that the volume for Solana was not good for it or something.
No. Don't be putting words in my mouth now. I didn't say it's not good for it. I said the statistic itself is like pretty arbitrary because they're just selling raffle spots, which are half like vaporware, and it's the middle of a bear market where there is no volume.
Yeah, I still don't like it.
Nah, man. I mean, I again just look at it right now. Like it all goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where I think with the NFT space right now, whether it's the Pudgies, whether it's Wonky Stonks, whatever the heck it is right now, like if you're buying for a quick flip in the NFT marketplace right now, you're most likely going to end up losing money, right? Like it's not something that I think when you're in a bull market, you have those type of opportunities where you can you can flip quickly from one project to another. You'll be okay, right? Like there's a lot more liquidity in that space during bullish runs, and it gives you those type of opportunities. But in this type of market, I really do think that it goes back to what is the reason for why you're bullish on whatever project you're bullish on, right? Like if there's a utility aspect, then being able to see, okay, how are they delivering this, right? Like what exactly is it for that utility? Are they coming out with some amazing game that you enjoy playing? You know, is it the IP side of things where you are seeing what Pudgies are doing with those type of deals? You know, and if it's something else, whether it is the founder, the community, just seeing their active presence, how they're continuing to show up, regardless of whatever price does, I think speaks a lot more to the potential opportunity because NFTs, they go sideways or they go down until they go up. And when they go up fast, right? Like it's that simple, you know, and it's the same thing with alts in this space, right? If you have a high conviction play with alts and they're just slowly bleeding out, usually by the time that you have enough confidence to say, man, like this thing is turned around, it's already done 20-30%. You know, again, like looking at what Litecoin did today, right? buying fear in the crypto market is usually the most profitable strategy. SEC FUD also, when, looking at any time that there's been SEC FUD this year, there's been an opportunity that's followed that. So, I'm more bullish on the NFT space than ever. I love the fact that everything's down right now, because I really think the people that are still here, that are still showing up, do have a lot more opportunity in front of them than what it may feel like in the present. So I appreciate all you guys that have come out today. And I hate doing this, especially with Pentashi down here, man. I love him, but I've got a meeting coming up here that I've got to drive across town for in the next half hour. So unfortunately, do end up having to call it quits for today. But it's 71 episodes straight. If you guys missed it earlier in the space, we do these every single week. Just hang out with the community. The Wonky Stonks project that I launched as a free mint back in October 2021, basically to bridge the gap between the NFT trading, the NFT community and the trading community, completely generative art. I feel like the charts do have a story to them. I think if you're a trader, that anytime that I see price action on a screen resonates with some different period of time for me, it's almost like stepping into a restaurant, like smelling some type of food and then being taken back to some type of memory. I've spent so much time looking at charts. I get the same thing whenever I look at price action. So I think that in a sense, it is a meme in and of itself, though, too, when you're looking and talking about the idea of somebody finding value in a chart more desirable than actually investing in any real chart itself, I think is a meme in and of itself. And part of the idea for why we went forward with the project. So, it's been nearly 2 years now, and we're going to keep going one way or the other. I believe in the community, and I believe in the project. So I appreciate y'all showing up as always. And we'll be back here, same time, same place next week.
Wonky Stonks are inevitable.
Appreciate y'all rolling out. We will see you guys not too long. Everybody enjoy the weekend.
Happy weekend. Happy, what is it, the 4th?
Yeah, I guess it is the 4th this week. So for everybody in America, be careful. Happy Independence Day coming up. Don't blow your hands off and have fun. Catch you guys next week.